Hi, everybody. John Peters from The Main Thing. And today I am joined by two of my favorite partners from First Bergen Credit Union, Joe and Melanie. But let's have you introduce each other.
Sure. My name is Melanie Mercado. I am the Director of Operations at First Bergen Federal Credit Union.
Great.
Hi, and I'm Joe Brown, the Chief Operating Officer at First Bergen.
Okay. Well, you know what my first question is going to be today, right?
Probably.
Okay. So I don't know who's going to take it, but it's something I get asked, and even though you've explained it to me 10 times already.
Melanie's going to take it.
Okay. So my first question is, what the heck is the difference between a credit union and a bank?
And that's a great question. It's a question that we get asked all the time. And as I was saying before, it is a myth around the credit union world. Many people think that to belong to a credit union, you have to be part of a certain group, and that is not true. Anyone is welcome at the credit union, and the difference is that you have voting rights. You're a member. You're not a customer.
Okay.
You're not just a number. You have voting rights as to who you want in the board of directors, who you want sitting on the board of directors. So that is the difference between a main bank. Also, there's no stakeholders. There's just volunteer board directors.
Okay.
Right.
So that's a good thing. And I know the second question is got to be, and I know that this came up when we were talking about banking and where to go. Is it just as secure, Joe? Is it all those questions that I guess you have to answer? I can't be the only one that's asking.
No, that's a good question again, because a lot of people ask that question.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very secure on two levels. Number one, your money is secured by the NCUA, which is the National Credit Union Association.
Okay.
They secure the funds that are in the bank. But apart from that, we also have very high security on our accounts. All your information is kept very confidential. We take security very seriously.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just like a bank, pretty much, right?
Yep.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing. I mean, should people be looking at this the same way?
Yeah, there's really no difference anymore. I mean, years ago it was different, but kind of now everybody kind of does the same things. It's just a matter of your taxes, your charters, and how you process things, and who monitors you, who does your compliance.
Well, I mean, I could tell you personally, just walking into your place, it feels different. You're in the neighborhood, you're right down the street from me. I walk in, everybody's like, "Hey, John, how's it going?" And I was like, "Okay, well, this right away, it's a whole different feeling."
We're very community-based.
As you explained it to me when we first started talking, was the money stays in the neighborhood, right? So there's a benefit. It's not some big corporate bank.
Well, we try to make it a friend. We try to make the credit union different. Melanie and her staff get out to the community. They want everybody to feel like we're part of the community, because we are part of the community.
Right.
We've been there a long time. Yet on my side is I take care of the business part, and we're very serious about taking care of the business. We want to do the right things for you. We want your business to be what you want it to be, and we're going to do whatever we can to help you do that.
Okay, so then that leads me right into my next question. Like, what would that be? Like, what are the things that you do to support small business?
Well, from a finance standpoint, we have very flexible terms.
Okay.
We've had a number of customers who have come in and said, I don't know about interest rates or whatever, but I need X amount of money per month to do this. And we work that out so that he can afford to pay that X amount of money.
Right.
We've had another customer who's been with us for a while, who wants to expand his business but didn't know how, and we worked with him on building his business plan.
Okay.
We actually helped him his business plan.
Right.
Well, it made sense because we're lending you the money, so if we're going to help you succeed any way we can, that's what we want to do.
I'd love to see someone at a big bank walk in and then you say, "I'd like to, before we talk about my loan, I'm hoping you can help me with my business plan." I'd like to see how that one goes.
Well, we tailor our services and products based on businesses' feedback, right? We take that very seriously. So whenever we get any feedback from our members, we said, okay, let's look at our products and services, and this is what they want, this is what they need. So there's a difference. There's a difference between a commercial bank and a credit union. You go to a commercial bank and you said, well, I don't like this. Too bad, right? When you come to us, I don't like this. Okay, we're going to listen to you, and we're going to tailor our businesses, our services around that feedback, and that's what we like to to promote, and we pride ourselves.
I remember the first time I came and I spoke to you guys, and I was like, hey, we have 375 businesses
Yes. Yep.
in our district, but nobody's looking for a multi-million dollar loan. These are all small guys that need to
Correct.
fix their storefronts and the insides. So, and you said, well, how about a small business loan up to was about $49,000
Right.
or something like
Right.
that, right?
Yeah, those are pretty easy for us to process. I mean, we will deal with large commercial loans, but we really specialize in the small business loans. That's what we want to accomplish. And, if people will come in and give us their opinion, we encourage them to give us their opinion,
Absolutely.
because it really does help us
Right.
develop other loans and process and programs and products.
Well, I know when I started asking around, I couldn't find anybody that had something negative to say. It was like, hey, you're gonna love the hands-on approach. That's
Right.
all I kept hearing about was
That's great.
you're gonna feel
Yeah.
like you're part of the team, and that's what it's
Yeah,
been like.
I like to think we're the best kept secret in town.
Okay.
We've been there for so long.
Yeah.
And
Well, how long have you been there?
we're there
15 years.
Okay, yeah.
And
15 years.
we're part of the community, and that's what we want to be.
Yes, since inception, First Bergen has prided themselves into being the community bank of Hackensack and Main Street, especially Main Street. We want to be that bank for the small businesses, for new people that are moving into Hackensack, new homeowners, new business owners. We want to be their go-to community bank.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I know you can pretty much walk into any bank and someone will say, oh, I bank over here and XYZ person's really nice. And we've all had that
Right.
experience
Yeah,
where
of
you work
course.
with someone, and this is not a slam against
Absolutely.
any of the other places that we've banked or the banks in the area, but there's just something very, I guess, hands-on. It was more like a partner. I didn't feel like a VIP customer. I felt like I have a partner whenever I talk to you guys, because we're looking at something and we're
Yep.
figuring it out together. It's
Yeah.
not like it's a highway, or this way or the highway, right?
That's
Right.
exactly the way we want you to feel, because that's how we feel.
Yeah.
We want to be your partner.
Well, and that's why I was shocked at all the questions you guys were asking. Right? There was a lot of questions that I didn't even understand at first, the relevance of those, and then I realized it was just your way of going about understanding the whole project and the organization as a whole.
And most of our staff are multilingual, too.
Absolutely. And our main
So-
goal is to get to know
Yeah.
our members, a one-on-one, get to know them, come to us with your questions, with your issues, and we want to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk marketing for a second. So how do you tailor your marketing for the small businesses? Like, is it different? And then what can the small businesses take away from that? Like, how does that work differently in your experience?
So one of our strategic plan was to partner with Main Street Alliance, right? Because you guys are in Hackensack, you know your businesses, and we want to be part of that community as well. We want to stay part of that community. So we reach out to you, you reach out to us, and also we want to reach out to our small businesses and
Right.
tell them we're here for you. And especially during the pandemic, we know that was a hard time for everyone,
everybody, sure. Yeah.
especially for small businesses. And we were part of the PPP program, and we were able to help over 200 small businesses, get them a loan and get them to stay open
Right.
and not close during
Yeah.
the pandemic. So I think, reaching out to our community and say, hey, we're here for you, it has helped us a lot to stay relevant.
And for our viewers who are outside this area, is that pretty typical of a credit union? Is that pretty much is that really how it works? Like, if you go across the country and there's a special improvement district or a business improvement district, and there's a small business in there, should they check the credit union first before they?
Yeah.
Yeah, credit unions are pretty much have the same attitude toward their customers. We just attended a large conference in New York City where credit unions from all over the country showed up, and clearly they care about their customers. They want to help people.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're one of the few CDFI community development financial institution chartered through the NCUA, and that's just that, right? We want to help the community, and I think for a healthy economy, community banks are very important. They're detrimental for that financial ecosystem. So I think you should reach out to your community bank and see what they have to offer.
Okay.
And I know that they will try to do everything to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're very beneficial for the community,
Absolutely.
right? Which is what you're saying. So, how do you guys, at the end of the day, right? Any business will say, okay, how are your numbers? How do you measure success at your place? Like when you sit in the meetings on, what are they, on Fridays or Mondays, or so what are they? And like when you talk about that, what's on the board?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
We have a lot of things on the board. You know, obviously, I'm not going to say we don't look at our net profits.
Okay.
We're in business to make money.
Sure.
We may not make as much money as a commercial bank, like our bottom line might not be as important, but that's all not that we look at. We look at success at what's the bottom line of our customers,
Right.
individuals as well, not
Sure.
just like in our savings programs.
Right.
If our members are individuals are getting good interest rates on their CDs, their savings accounts, if you're building up your savings account, that's a plus for us. That's
Right.
what we're looking to do.
Your success is our success.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like a win-win all the way around, right? I always love the conversations that say, listen, I can't make money until you make money, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in this case, where you're saying the money stays in the community and it's
Oh, yeah.
for the small businesses in the
Yep.
community and the residents in the community. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's jump a little bit, right? So how do you ensure that marketing is really resonating? Like what kind of, so if I'm a small business here on Main Street, or like we said, frankly, anywhere, what are the kind of things that make you look at a potential partner like us, or anybody, and say, you know what, that's what I'm looking for? Like, what is it that you look for? Like almost, and if you put your small business hat on,
Right.
what are the kind of things that you guys look at to evaluate?
Well, I mean, obviously, when we're doing loans, we have to look at finances. That's
Okay.
a given. Everybody has to do it.
Right.
We look at a business that cares about its business.
A shared vision.
I was in a small business years ago, many years ago. And so I know how it is. I know how it feels to have a small business. You
Right.
worry about a lot of things.
Sure.
And we try to meet the people and talk to them and see how they feel about their business. If they have a passion for their business,
Right.
that's one of the things we look for. Not just smarts,
Right.
good business plan and everything. Your passion for your business is important too.
And that's one of the things I love about talking to a bunch of the owners on Main Street. And we've had some guests. I've had some guests. We've had LeVar from Iconic and Roberto from SunMed. These are guys who really, I mean, don't ask LeVar about coffee. You better strap yourself in and be ready. But to your point about really understanding the business and to your previous experience, someone will say to me, well, what do you know about small business? I'm like, I know what it's like to have to make payroll on Friday.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
let me tell you about anything else you want to talk about in small business.
Right.
The pressure of making sure that your employees and their families can eat is pretty
Yeah.
up there.
I mean, I may not know anything about coffee other than how it tastes,
Right.
but I do know the pressures of a small business.
Sure.
Making money, making a profit each month. It's not easy. It's a lot of hard work.
So how do you support the community, right? So you have these plans and you have all these different programs. You help people with their business plans. You provide small business loans. How else do you see yourself fitting into the community, even just from a marketing standpoint?
Well, again, to our main point, our main theme is we want to be the bank of a Main Street, right? We want to be your bank, your community bank, where you can go and say, you know what, I'm not sure how to go about this. Melanie or Joe, they helped me initially. Let me go to them and see what's their perspective, right? Our shared vision. We want to share that mission with you. And I think when you come to us or any community bank, I think you can feel that that passion and that community shared vision, and that's what we want to achieve when you come to us.
So when I'm talking to both of you, I mean, you should know that the passion comes through there, right? It's pretty interesting.
Great.
It's pretty interesting.
Well, that's good to know. I
well,
never
no, no, like,
thought
you're passionate
it.
about what you do, right? You're passionate about
Very
the product. So-
Absolutely, absolutely.
But let me turn that on its head a little bit. What are you most proud of something that you might have done in the community? If you can't mention a particular name or
Yeah, I
whatever,
don't want to
that's
mention
fine.
any names, but we've had several small businesses that probably wouldn't have succeeded had we not worked with them. They started out, they struggled.
Mm-hmm.
We refinanced their loan. We worked with them. We worked a little bit with their business plan, and they are thriving now.
Right.
Their loans are being paid, if not already paid off. I don't know,
Right.
they might even be
Right.
paid off,
Right.
for all I know. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of, again, I don't want to mention any names, someone who used to come in the bank every day who was having trouble with his credit report, his credit rating, his credit report, and we helped him. Well, you helped him. And
we all did.
and he loves us. He was, and
Yeah, see, I don't
just to see people like that, it's like,
I can tell you we have members that have come to us with no credit score at all. None. Just a blank credit report. And we have helped them go from no credit report to getting their first auto loan because we helped them build their
Right.
credit. And it's not just we did this for them, it's we did it together. We helped you through your financial journey. And we're proud of that,
Yeah.
for someone to say, you know what, I can put my faith in you guys and know that I will be in good hands.
and one other thing, we run these small business seminars, I guess we call
Yes.
them, which involves financial literacy and things like that. When you become successful as part of the group, you become a mentor to the others.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So we're not only happy that you're being successful, we're happy that you're making other people
It's a domino
successful.
effect.
Yeah. Yeah, we run a bunch of small business meetups, and I'm like, look, this isn't about me. This is about let's open it up. What's working for everybody? What's
Right.
not working for
What's
everybody? I'm
not.
happy to offer some advice.
Yeah.
Right.
I tell people all the time, you want to learn from my successes? That's great. But you want to learn from my failures? That's even better, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to make the same
Absolutely.
mistakes ever again. Right? We've
Absolutely.
all
Yeah.
had those duties. So where do you see your organization, or I don't know if you want to answer more broadly credit unions, but let's just start with First Bergen. Where do you see your guys in 5 years from now? How does that does it look vastly different? Is it just bigger? Is it what is it?
Well, I'll go first because I bet the visions are different.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. It's going to grow. We're going to get bigger and better. The bigger we get, the better we can serve people. We'd like to branch out into having other branches.
Okay.
Maybe moving into other communities. We may move in. You may work in a community you live in
Right.
versus where you work.
Right.
That's what we're looking to do, is to reach and help as many people as we can, and at the same time, building our own business.
Right. Yeah.
Being the credit union of the people for the people.
Okay.
Right? Being the Main Street, especially the Main Street credit union
Right.
and community-based bank.
Yeah, it's funny. So I've written this book about marketing on Main Street. And someone said, "Oh, the term Main Street, that sounds so." I was talking to one of the publishers, like, "Oh, that sounds so small." I'm like, "You haven't seen our Main Street,
Right.
right?" And he was almost like, "It makes it sound insignificant." I'm like, "No, I said I have to differ. I have to have a difference of opinion here. Main Street is not just a street."
Right.
Right? It's all the
Right.
people there. It's all the business, and you keep coming up 500 feet, and another 10,000 feet, come up 30,000 feet, and you see this lifeblood of a community.
Yeah.
So that's where I have felt completely different with you guys than any other of my.
Well, we definitely got that from you the very first day you walked in the door.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
That
to
your
hear.
Main Street wasn't a street. It wasn't pavement or sidewalks.
Right.
It's a
Main
community.
Street was the group.
It's the group. I love when you talk about financial knowledge. What'd you call it? Financial
Literacy.
Literacy. Sure.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are out there that seem easy for someone. I was just talking to someone the other day. There's a vendor walking up and down the street for the new POS systems. And someone said, "Oh, I got a new POS system and it was free." I go, "It wasn't free." So it sounds great. Yes, you got a new computer in there, right? But that person isn't out there going, "Well, hey, hang on a minute. Like, there is a reason they're giving you a couple of grand worth of equipment there.
Right.
Right.
It's probably going to pay for itself for them fairly
Right.
quickly. Right? So those are the kind of things that...
Yeah, we had a program. We have a program like that with the credit cards and the systems. And there was another company on Main Street, I'm not going to mention any names, who was about to connect with that same group, and he had all these high rates and everything. We said, well, wait a minute, let's talk about that.
Right, sure.
And by the time we got to the end of what it was going to cost him, he was going to save so much more money and convenience by going with us and using our credit card system and our
Right.
computers. Because we're not looking to make a lot of money on
Right.
fees. Matter of fact, we don't even charge fees.
Right.
You know?
Really don't.
When you guys told me that, I'm like, okay. And I remember it was our first meeting. Like, we don't
Yeah.
charge fees, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking under the table. I'm looking for something like that. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's been, and that's the kind of knowledge though that small businesses, not only here in Hackensack, but really across the country, right? These vendors are all over the place handing out free POS systems,
Oh, yeah.
and small businesses left and right aren't realizing that they're taking a big chunk of their net profits
Right.
and
Yep.
throwing it out the window to pay for what looks like a fancy
Yeah.
computer system.
Right.
Frankly, a lot of them aren't even that great.
No,
It's
they're
just
not.
this allure of
They're not.
some free. Every one of them has. Everyone that I've walked into,
Yeah.
and I try and tell people, listen, and it's not just that decision. It's that concept of someone's walking in and offering you something free like that. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a reason.
why a
Nothing's
business
free.
plan, a business strategic plan it's very important, especially if you're starting your business.
Right.
And it's important to talk to someone who knows about the topic, an expert, so you don't fall for these,
Yeah.
this fake.
Yeah, and I
free stuff.
I love the whole concept of you guys helping with a business plan. And I'm a team of 1.5 over there, right? So I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm happy to. But when I ask someone who's starting out in business, and I'm like, okay, well, give me the pie chart of where your
Right.
revenues come
Right,
from,
right.
and the pie chart doesn't equal 100. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, or when I start hearing things like, well, how long is this grant going to take? Because I have 3 months worth of money left. I go, but you haven't even opened yet.
Right.
Right. So that assistance that you guys can help with, it's just, it's immeasurable, really.
We see a need in the community, and we try to meet those needs of the community. And
Yeah.
that's where-
And don't get me
where
wrong,
we
plenty
come
of people come in, they're fully, I mean, again, I keep using LeVar from Iconic Coffee as he's one of my poster children. I mean, everything is just, the guy's awesome. We just, it was a previous podcast that we did with him. I didn't know that we talked about the basics. Like, he's like, well, basics, like training? I'm like, okay, well, how long do you train? He goes, my baristas go away to 2-day barista camp
Wow.
Wow.
to learn. I go, is it that hard? He's like, it's the intimidation of these big things of these big machines, and he's just really entrenched of every aspect of the business, and that's where I think that typical banks, they're like, listen, they're not offering that kind of service, and
Right.
yet
Right.
it's so required here. It's so small businesses are facing such challenges.
Well, training your staff like that is brilliant, because I know when I go in there, I'm so impressed by the ones that can move it, do this, do this, do this.
Absolutely.
And it's right in front of you before you know it. It's like, wow, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, not to
Yeah.
mention
Yeah.
they call you by name as soon as you open the door. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
John, you want the usual? I'm like, okay, I haven't even
Yeah.
gotten to the counter yet.
And that's
but-
what I want. That's what we want to be.
It's
Right.
that personalized
Yeah.
service that will
Well,
have your
listen,
members.
I know that's what you want to be, but I'm telling you, I walk in there and I see it even from the people that are there ahead of me,
Right.
right?
It's amazing.
And it's open, it's right there, and everybody's like, you
Yeah, it doesn't
connect
take us long. We get to know you pretty quick.
with- Yeah, there's no question.
Yeah.
A little,
That
frankly,
is
it was
true.
a little,
That
little
is
frightening
one-
at first, right?
That's one thing we do very well.
I've had people call like, "Hey, John, like, how do you know my name?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "We know you."
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about seasonal offers? I mean, do you guys have to go through that from a marketing standpoint? Like, I don't imagine it's just marketing, right? There's a reason for it. So you have new programs that come up. Is it seasonally? What are they tied to? What are the types of things that people can look for from a credit union or from you guys specifically?
Absolutely. We're actually running a campaign right now. It's a seasonal campaign for the summer. If you want to go on vacation, we understand that you might not want to delve into your liquidity and you want a loan, a short-term loan to go on vacation, to take your kids. And we are running that promotion at a low rate. And if you want to refinance your car, if you want to purchase a brand new car or pre-loved car, we are running a
Pre-loved
promotion.
car. I like
Pre-loved
that.
car.
I like that. I've got a couple of friends in the car industry. I
Yeah.
gotta let them know about that one. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we try to give our specials not so much by a day or an event, but by where we can help you. For example, during Christmas.
Yes.
And during the holidays.
We had a buy now, pay later campaign as well. Yeah, so instead of, that layaway program, it's going away now.
Right.
A lot of people used to do that back in the day.
Right.
But now we did run the campaign that's called buy now, pay later. And we try to make it easy for you, and the process, the whole loan application process, it's fairly seamless because we don't want to give you the runaround.
Okay, I need some more information. Okay, hang on. So buy now, pay later normally means you will walk in, you give somebody a credit card, and without realizing you're paying, I don't know, what is it, 20, 30, who knows what kind of percentage on
High
something.
rates.
Your $100 purchase just cost you $125.
Right, correct.
So how is that different with what you're talking about?
So you come to us for a loan. Hey, I see you guys are running the buy now, pay later campaign. I'd like to apply for that. Usually our decision making runs from 1 week, the latest.
Okay.
We can have a decision to you by the third day, and we'll give you whatever amount you were approved for.
Okay.
Go ahead, do your shopping, start paying us, within a month later, and we usually have terms for 12 months, 24 months. So you can plan your
Okay.
your buy, your holiday shopping.
Well,
You don't have to worry about the stress of I don't have money to
Right.
buy my kids their holiday gifts. I could just get a loan from First Bergen and pay it within a year or two.
Yeah, and it could be for any type of purchase,
For
obviously.
any type
right.
of
Yeah, we
purchase.
don't
Right.
we don't ask
Right.
what it's for.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this, I have more questions, but
Sure.
always at this point, I'm saying I should be asking you something that I might be missing. So what am I missing? What have I not asked you? What are some of the burning issues that you see small businesses might be thinking about experiencing? Are there any particular challenges, any trends, or that?
Well, we have the challenge of when people hear the word credit union, they think of outdated, old-fashioned.
Yeah.
They won't be able to serve my needs. They're not too fintech. That's not true.
Right.
That's not true. We always try to keep up with the latest technology to better serve our members. Being that we just upgraded to, we have Zelle, we have free bill pay, we have mobile deposit. You could, if you can't make it to the branch, you could take a picture of your check. So we try to make it easy for you to bank with us, not the other way around.
Sure.
We understand that everyone's schedule, it's different, it looks different. So we try to tailor our services around your schedule and your needs.
I can't remember the last time I actually went to a bank to deposit a check.
Right.
Is that just taking pictures of it? It's like, okay, we accepted your check.
That's it.
Pretty
Yeah.
much it. That's-
Your money's in your account.
I never know what to do with them afterwards, though. Like, it's like,
You're supposed
No, I
to
don't either. I have them stacked up on my
Yeah,
desk.
like,
right?
what do you do with
You're supposed to discard them after a month, after the check has been cleared and
Yeah.
the bank hasn't called you, tell you, hey, there's a problem with that check. After a month, it's a safe timeline to.
Right, so what you're
to
saying is I
discard
have to
the
go
check.
home and tell my wife yet again she was right about something? Because
Yep, that is correct.
And we
Okay.
still offer services to. So if you want to make a deposit at night, we have a drop box where everything can be deposited. If you want to come to the bank, you can certainly come to the bank. We offer whatever avenues you need to.
We call it simple banking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No need to stress.
and so it's funny that you said you don't need to stress, right? Because I was talking to one of our member businesses on Main Street, Peniel Pharmacy. It's a pharmacy. I'm like, that's got to be a tough business. He's like, it's tough.
I would think.
And I said, well, how are you differentiating yourself? He's like, we deliver. We have a lot of new buildings. We have all of Hackensack.
Right.
He's like, as long as you're in our zip code, you call in a prescription, we get it from your doctor, and
great.
you say, hey, it'll be at your house before you get home. I mean,
Right.
talk about
Right.
stress relief.
Wow.
And I'm seeing that trend, and you just used the word trying to be stress free for people, and that's clearly a theme, right? How do we make everybody's life easier? Maybe
Correct.
maybe they're a little more understaffed than they had hoped. Maybe who knows? Maybe they have I don't know. I have teenagers. I use the word stress every couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that seems a pretty common theme in what you
Yeah,
guys
I
are
think
doing.
it's. I think
Banking's-
stress is in everybody's life. I
Right.
mean,
Banking
that's-
shouldn't be stressful. Let us handle
Shouldn't
your
be.
financials, and we'll take care of you.
And if you're
Yes.
pressured, like if you apply for a loan and for whatever reason we're backed up with loans and the underwriters take a little longer, a lot of people just call Melanie and say, Melanie, look, I really need this right now. I'm going to lose this car. She'll move it right to the top of the
Right.
list and get it done.
Right.
So, because we eliminate stress as best
We
we
like to
can.
vouch for our members.
Your stress is our stress, except
Yes.
when it comes to your kids. That's
Yeah,
on you.
well, I've been getting texts while we're sitting here. And
Oh,
I'll
boy.
tell you about stress. Okay, so what should I ask you? What else should we be talking about? Is there something that we might have missed just in the general overarching theme of small business these days? Is there something that you guys see? I always like to ask.
a good
I always like
question.
to
That is a
ask that
great
question.
question.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not looking to put anybody on the spot,
No,
but
understood.
things are different, right? AI is different. Computer
Yep.
systems are different. The machines are
Right.
different. I mean,
Right.
you know, I showed my kids my first laptop. That was still been sitting. I think it's like 40 pounds. It's got a handle on the
boy.
top of it, right? And they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, I think that's what we're all going to say
Right.
when everything is just changing so quickly now.
Yeah.
Is that happening in the financial world too?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
very common theme.
Yeah.
And we got to keep up with the changes, right? We got to adapt to our members, to our environment, financial environment, and our members' needs as well. But
Yeah, I just hope that the members or people who want to be members, don't be afraid to ask. Come in and ask. It can't hurt. If you have a
Right.
question, can you do this? Come in and ask.
Right.
If we can do it, we'll do it.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll do it.
Absolutely. One of the challenges I've seen small business face is, are they going to make it long term? You know, what does the future look like for them?
Right.
They might have a business plan for now, but again, that stress of what is my business going to look like 5 years from now, with this ever changing environment. So, what we're here to
So I
help you.
get similar questions like that all the time. People are like, oh, tell me about business recruitment. Tell me about business recruitment. I'm like, we do. We have business recruitment activity.
Right.
But dare I say even more important is business retention, right? Because you're already here. You've already spent your money, right? If
Right.
something happens to your place and you close, that's bad for you. It's bad for the community. It's bad for Main Street. Shame on all of us for not coming to your rescue and trying to
Right.
figure out,
Correct.
Right.
what it is. So, and I'm not saying I'm responsible for going in and running every people's business, because that's not the mission. But it's really to monitor the whole business community really and see what what's happening.
Yeah, and I think, at least it was when I was running a business, you get so wound up in the day-to-day business, you forget about what you need to do for
Sure.
the future. So you need somebody who you can sit down and talk to about it. I mean, that's very important. I wish I had that.
Absolutely.
Well,
No,
and
it's a
that
community.
and that is, I'm finding, as a fairly central theme as here and as I travel across the country. Right, the mom and pops used to be able to pretty much get by with hard work. Right, it was about ethic
Right.
and hard work and grit.
Right.
But now there seems to be like a level on top of that. I was talking to someone like, "Hey, can you come to our meetup?" She's like, "I
Yeah.
can't." I'm like, she's like, I'm doing deliveries.
Right.
Like the
Right.
lady that owns the restaurant was actually out doing deliveries,
Right.
and
Wow.
she's got other people. It was just busy at that moment. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, what if I change it to after hours? She's
Right.
like, I gotta get home.
Yeah.
It's like, so there's all these different.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's rough these days.
Yeah.
It's rough. Not to mention the costs. Everybody keeps talking about the cost of absolutely
Yeah.
everything has just gone through the roof.
Yeah, running a small business is your life.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes
For sure.
with many challenges.
Yep. It sure does.
Okay. So I think we've covered mostly everything.
Yeah.
I want everybody, again, here in Hackensack to leave with, they should certainly come in and, to your point, ask some questions.
Ask.
Just
Yeah.
ask.
Just come in and see. And then, again, to the rest of our audience, stop in at the credit union.
Absolutely.
Right? It shouldn't be that scary. I know it's something, I remember the first time I saw your sign, I'm like, oof, what do I,
What are our stars?
like, what's different?
Yeah.
Like, how do you, I almost felt a little like I needed to do a little bit of research first, but you guys have,
Yeah.
and I've spoken to a bunch of the businesses on Main Street that you guys work with, and it's just, that's why I asked you to come today, because
Yeah.
it's truly been life-changing for them, which is pretty hard to do.
That's our goal.
Yeah, this is all. I got to tell you, what's happening right now in Hackensack, what you're doing, what we're hoping to do, what the people are, it's really exciting. I mean,
It is.
It really is.
No, it's really a,
Yeah.
you know, I like to tell people, listen, I just got here 2 years ago, so all the hard work was really done.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we're on the 80-yard line, but you can still fumble a ball at the 80-yard line.
Absolutely.
Not to use a football analogy too much, but there's still a lot of really good work that has to take place.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, the people in Hackensack are really nice. I mean, I haven't been with the bank for 25 years, but I've been in Hackensack for 25 years, and people are really nice. It's a real homey attitude,
Yes.
and it's exciting what's happening.
It really is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, listen. So that brings us to a close. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking care of all our member businesses on Main Street. But
Right.
this has been great. So I really
Well,
appreciate.
thank you,
working
John.
with
You guys
Thank
have
you
been
for having
wonderful.
us.
Yeah,
no,
you
my
guys have
pleasure.
been great.
Well, everybody, thanks very much. And this is The Main Thing.